What is up, you guys? In today's video, I'm going to give you the top 3 reasons that people fail as they start trying to grow their woodworking business. Let's dive in. All right, well, as always, grateful for you. In today's video, we're gonna dive into the top 3 reasons that I find people fail when starting to scale or try to grow their woodworking business. And so this is a little bit of a challenging video for many of us because I have personally experienced all of these challenges. I know that a lot of you guys out there that are trying to grow or trying to scale are experiencing these challenges as well. And here's the reality. Your situation is not unique. There are people that fail every single day. We have to figure out how to overcome the barriers and the challenges that you're going to inevitably face as you start trying to do something outside of your normal everyday life, okay? So here's the top 3 reasons that people fail when starting to grow their woodworking business. So number 1 is that they underestimate the workload. They underestimate the workload. They underestimate what it's gonna take to actually make it happen. Most of you guys that are trying to start a woodworking business, you already have another full-time job. You might have a family, you might have a wife, you might have kids. If you're a woman out there watching this, you might have a husband, you might have kids, you might have a full-time job. I don't know your unique circumstance, but I know this. It's going to be hard. You need to know that it's going to be hard. If you think that it's all going to be sunshine and rainbows, you're in for a rude awakening and you're not going to last. You have to know that it's going to be difficult to scale a business, to grow a business, while you're also working a full-time job and trying to be a husband or a wife and a parent and a good friend. It's going to be hard to add another thing to your life that requires a lot of attention. I like to give this analogy all the time, but a brand new business is like a brand new baby. For those of you parents out there, a brand new baby requires a lot of attention, right? They cannot care for themselves. You must care for them. So a brand new business is very similar in the fact that it is going to require time and attention. It's going to require energy. It's going to require a lot of work. The workload is what we're talking about here. And so as you're growing a woodworking business, you're the one that's talking to clients. You're the one that's building everything. You're the one that's still trying to work your day job and still trying to be a good husband and dad. It's not easy. So that's the very first reason that people typically fail, is that they just come into it completely oblivious to the fact that it's going to require a lot of them. So you have to kind of dig your boots in and get ready for a season that's going to be a challenging season. Now, is it a rewarding season? Absolutely. Is it a blessed season? Absolutely. Can you do it? Absolutely. You just need to go into it with eyes wide open. So number 2, the second reason that people fail to grow their woodworking business is that they develop little to no strategy before they start. And so many people are like, hey, I'm just going to start this thing. It's going to all work out. Ignorance is bliss, right? I'll be completely honest with you. When I started my woodworking business, I didn't know anything about business. This is my story. I had little to no strategy when it came to starting my woodworking business. I didn't have an idea of how I was going to consistently get clients, consistently get leads. That was a huge problem. And so when I first started, it totally bombed. I remember my whole plan was that I was going to build about $8,000 or $10,000 worth of furniture in a whole month. I was going to take it to this flea market type event that's about an hour away from my house, and I was going to sell it all, and off to the races I was going to go. You know, we're going to make 8 or 10 grand a month. Here we go. I built all that furniture. I took a whole month doing it. I went to Canton is where I went, Canton Trade Days in Texas, set up my booth, made it look awesome, and sold like $300 worth of furniture. Then I had to bring it all back home and find some place to put it all. So after that, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. So by consuming education like this and getting a plan and getting a strategy and working with me or somebody like me is going to allow you to just be 5, 10, 15 steps ahead of where you normally would be with strategy inside of your business. You need to know, what am I going to sell? Who am I going to sell it to? How am I going to get in front of them? And how am I going to convert them from just interested into actual paying customers? You need to have those 4 things down, and if you don't, you're in for a rude awakening when you start your woodworking business, okay? The third reason that people fail in their woodworking business is that this is a kind of a hard statement, but they don't demonstrate or have any grit. If you are not gritty, if you do not know how to withstand the tough times, if you don't understand how to get kicked in the side of the head again and again, metaphorically, and keep getting back up and facing the next day again, you're gonna have a tough time growing a business. You have to be extremely resilient if you decide right now that you want to try to grow a business. So many people want to grow a business because they fall in love with the idea of making more money, or they fall in love with the idea of being their own boss, or having their own schedule, or all those things. But the reality is, it's going to require so much more grit of you to be a business owner than it would be to be an employee somewhere else. When you're an employee somewhere else, you can clock in and clock out. When you clock out, you're done. When you're a business owner, you're on 24 hours a day, except for the time that you're sleeping. You're solving problems. You're putting out fires. And here's the other deal, is that life is just going to throw you curveballs. You're going to wake up one day and man, today's a great day. And you walk into the rest of your day and you get some of the worst news you've gotten in the last 5 years. And so you've got to figure out, how do I handle that? How do I move beyond that and keep my business moving? One thing I've learned about business and business success is business success comes from doing simple things every day to the point that they become boring, and then always looking for ways to slightly improve them. Business success doesn't always come from these giant ideas or these giant amounts of effort that get pushed forward. It just comes from doing the same thing consistently again and again and again and figuring out how to take that to the next level. So if you're trying to start or trying to scale your handmade business, be sure to check out some of the resources that I have below. Quickly to name them off, number one, I've got a free ebook for you called the Handmade Business Secrets book, and that is a super helpful resource. It's basically my story and a lot of the basic business foundations that I discovered that helped me scale my business to actually over $160,000 in sales last month, okay? That book's gonna be super helpful. It's totally free to you. Number two, Handmade Hero Academy online course. That is gonna be all of the strategies that I use to break the $10,000 per month barrier and that you can use too, okay? It's a super low cost investment to start getting some of the skills, getting some of the knowledge that you need to get to the next level. And then number three is if you have a woodworking business that you're trying to scale to multiple 5 figures or 6 figures per month, be sure to check out the Woodworking Business Accelerator program. With that being said, I'll catch you on the next one.